What's going on, Kings? It's Keefe. In this video, I'm going to do what the mainstream media will never tell you to do, and that is to tell you to stop being so damn emotional. In this video, we are going to talk about why emotional men are weak. Before we get into that, though, hit that subscribe button and bell icon. This channel is all about helping you level up as a man and become that high-value winner you were born to be. So if that resonates with you, you will definitely love the content on this channel. Now, let's get started. So I want to be clear, this is not an argument saying that you need to be some unemotional robot. This is about a culture that promotes feelings over facts and tells you to constantly be emotional about everything. And really, this is about letting your emotions dictate the course of your life and the actions that you take and the actions that you don't take. I want you to understand this distinction. Every man is emotional, but not every man is an emotional man. And the difference is in the way that these emotions are experienced. An emotional man is somebody whose emotions dictate his behavior. If your emotions dominate the way you live your life and the decisions you make, and you find yourself constantly changing directions, you are definitely an emotional man. If you're somebody who gets angry about things and suddenly makes decisions that they would never make in the past, then you're an emotional man. If you're somebody who gets delusionally optimistic about things and is just convinced of all the positives and can't see the possibility for something not working out the way he expects, you are again being an emotional man. And the flip side of this is being the kind of man who has emotions but is not an emotional man, which means that anger might come up, but you can stay detached enough to not make a decision based on anger. And you might get really excited and really fired up about the possibilities in the future for something you're going after, but you can still keep a clear enough head to see the potential obstacles, roadblocks, and pitfalls that you need to be prepared for along the path. Emotional men are weak because they simply are incapable of making clear decisions, and because of that, they are oftentimes very manipulated. A salesperson's entire job is to get you emotional so that you make a decision. As somebody who used to be in sales, I can tell you this personally. I'm not saying sales is bad and every salesperson is a bad person, but your job is to get that person to get emotionally invested in what you're selling them so that they'll make a choice in your best interest. You will say dumb things out of anger that you regret. You will make horrible, irrational decisions out of fear, and apathy will get you to not even take action to begin with. And don't even get me started on things like desire. Desire is going to get you to cheat on your spouse or break your diet or just chase after all these different things and never see a picture clearly. You're going to be arrogant, and that arrogance is going to cause you to miss out on things that can help you get ahead in life. And the one thing all of these states of emotion have in common is they cause you to make bad decisions. And if you're thinking I'm just preaching at you or something like that, it's really not true. I was somebody who was very emotionally guided for the majority of his life, and I still to some degree am, but I've significantly improved on this area. I used to be one of these people who was just constantly focused on the positives, right? There's all this stuff on the internet that says focus on the positives. Positives. Like, don't even think about the negatives and just constantly be optimistic and delusionally happy with everything. And I believed that. I was like, okay, makes total sense. If you're happy, positive things will come into your life. Until I figured out it wasn't working. It was just putting me in worse situations because I would convince myself that something stupid was going to be like delusionally good for me. That desire for everything to end up just super positive and everything just leads you to ignore potential pitfalls until you run right into them because they're just a fact of reality. When you're being delusionally optimistic, just like when you're being delusionally pessimistic, in both circumstances, you aren't seeing the truth of the situation. I want you to think about two lovers. You know, you hear this all the time, like soulmate crap, right? They get so convinced, oh my God, like we were meant to be together. Like this is like God put us together. And all they get so emotional and craving and desire and gotta have each other and all this crazy, stupid crap that they convince themselves that like they're perfect for each other and it has to happen at the expense of everything else. They will throw their entire lives away to be with each other. They'll blow up friendships, they'll blow up careers, long distance relationships, right? Just dumb stuff like wasting their lives away with each other, ignoring all the potential pitfalls of this relationship, all the compatibility issues because they're just caught up in emotion. And then what happens is like a year or two later, they finally realize, once the emotion has cleared a little bit, how dumb they're being, and usually one's going to cheat on the other, and then both of them have to pick up the broken pieces of their lives. And look, I'm not saying you can't be inspired and optimistic and passionate about something. In fact, like I think that's an important part of your life. But if that is all you are doing, if all you have is passion and inspiration and optimism, but you can't back it up in anything real and ground it in anything, then you're screwed and you're just going to keep chasing your tail around. This is what happens when you let your heart lead. That's basically what you're doing when you're following passions and purpose. And I talk a lot about you need to follow your purpose. I believe in that. But what happens is you start following your purpose, but it's your heart leading and you don't make any clear, coherent plan because you're just being emotional and following it around. And that feeling just changes all the time because it's all emotion and there's no logic to ground the actual thing. Now, what I have found recently in my life is a state of being that I significantly prefer to all the freaking emotions out there. And it's really just comes down to like losing interest in being emotional all the time and riding that roller coaster of up and down emotions. And it's really this state of like centeredness and like inner peace. I'm not talking about the kind of like peace and relaxation where you're kind of zoned out on your phone. I'm talking about a state of mind where you're seeing the world clearly and you're willing to drop all the emotional crap. You're willing to not see things delusionally optimistically. You're willing to not see everything negatively. You just look at the reality as it is. And from that perspective, you've got your goal, you know where you're at, and you just can start to move forward. And because you have that clear vision, you can see things from this state of peace. Pretty much the only difference is I can still be happy. I'm still sad sometimes. I'm still angry. Sometimes I'll wake up and I don't feel motivated. But the only difference is I've lost interest in constantly playing that emotional game, because most people, what they do is they feel an emotion and they immediately buy into it. They're like, I'm just not feeling it today, or I'm angry about this, and they start blaming somebody and they get all angry, or I'm super excited today, let's go do all these things. And it's just like I lost all interest in it. Like I don't care. I don't want to ride this emotional roller coaster anymore. I just want to be steady. And that steadiness is really pretty much masculine frame. You're just centered and grounded in yourself. You're not going to let some emotions knock you off center in any direction. Masculine frame is so easily lost by emotions because we start getting all reactive to the emotion. If you wake up and your emotions cause you to hit snooze and have a really crappy day because you're just not feeling it, well, you lost frame. You let your emotions beat you in that situation, and that's not masculine. Basically, what this is a combination of the heart and the mind, which is something that a lot of people have spoken about in the past. A lot of great thinkers and philosophers have talked about this need to combine the passion and the drive of the heart and the emotions of that with the ability to mentally construct your plan and move forward and to see things clearly. You need both parts to balance each other. If you're all logic, then you'll never actually pursue something in your life because you're going to be constantly looking for the rational reason why it'll work, because your mind's not going to believe anything. It's not going to believe anything that it hasn't seen before, whereas your heart will believe in that dream. So you need both. But if you're completely heart-centered, you're not grounded at all, and you're just going to go all over the place. You need to ground that in some clear masculine rational thinking. And again, emotional men cannot do this, which is why they are weak. They cannot ground themselves. They get all emotional about everything. Like they won't even dare have a goal for their life because they're too afraid that they won't accomplish it, and they're too busy being upset about something else or blaming politics, being mad about this, or just blinding themselves to the truth based on emotions. They won't even see the truth of a situation because they'd rather stick to their emotional belief system. I mean, these kinds of guys get derailed by drama and bad moods and all these things. They can't even get out of bed in the morning because they're in a bad mood, or they just quit on everything they're doing because some other garbage took their attention and got them all emotional. Somebody cut them off in traffic and now they can't get any work done for the rest of the day, or somebody stared at them weird and now they're mad for the rest of their workout and they can't even focus on the workout, whatever it is. And they can't stick to anything that they start because their emotions go all over the place and they're completely driven by emotion and motivation rather than rational thinking and a rational plan and having actual self-discipline. And that emotion and that motivation just goes all over the place. One minute you're really fired up to do this thing and then you just don't feel like doing it, so you go in this other direction. So gentlemen, turn in your emotions for some clear thinking. Stop letting these emotions run you. When you become the master of your emotions, it's like playing a video game. Like you can turn on being joyful and excited or even angry if you want to, but you can always flip the switch back off when you need to because it's a game. And guys, I really believe the reason guys cannot get ahead in life is because they have no control over this thing between their ears. It's like they're completely controlled by their emotions and they can't think clearly, and they let everything around them cause them to react, which is being emotional. I did this for myself recently. Recently, I took some personality tests and I also did some self-reflection of the past few years of my life. And I determined that over the last 3 years, me and my own inability to think clearly and deal with my own biases and tendencies had cost me 2.5 years of the last 3 years. It basically been wasted time because I couldn't get out of my own way, because I couldn't get out of my own emotions. And I honestly think I'm probably doing better on this subject than most people my age, not even trying to brag. Like, clearly I'm still fucking it up a lot. But the point is, like, guys, if this is how it's affecting me, take a look. Get clear on yourself. Like, where are you screwing yourself up? Where are you letting emotions drive you? Get a clear plan about where you're at and start moving forward, because it's really not that hard if you can just get out of your own way. And that starts with getting in control of your emotions. Really, all you got to do if you want to move forward is pick your goal, pick that goal that really fires you up, and then get clear on your reality. Drop all the emotions. Be willing to be humble enough to admit what you don't know, what you're believing that's wrong. Maybe you have bad beliefs or whatever it is, or where you're willing to be angry and blame other people or feel sorry for yourself, whatever it is. Take an honest look at all that, throw all that crap out, and then just deal with the reality of the situation. You will find that you can move forward so quickly. And if you got something out of this video, give me a like, hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.